Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Miracle Lake Fields here in Town and Country on this 23rd day of October 2013. We're here to celebrate our Recognize Good Legends of 2013, October 2013, Steve and Tracey Brown. A couple of folks I'd like to mention as VIPs. We have Steve Barkley and George Wagner as past legends. We also have, I need to get this right, Robert and Sue Brown, parents of Steve. Thank you for coming. And we also have Patty Saragusa, who's going to say a few words about Steve and Tracey, and we have Dave Frederick from the Round Rock Express is going to be our presenter today. Back in 2007, 2008, ABC Home and Commercial Services and Tyrex were Ethics and Business Award winners. They got together with the Samaritan Counseling Center of Austin and formed a group that came up with a way to say thanks to people on the web. Recognize Good is a website where you can say thanks to your family, your friends, your acquaintances, those folks who've been coaches for your kids, folks who live in your neighborhood, folks you work with, and you can say thanks to them and it'll be publicized worldwide. So back in 2007, 2008, we had this group getting together. In 2009, we launched Recognize Good, and we were getting a number of thank yous. We noticed that most of the thank yous were pretty good. There were a few that seemed to raise themselves above the others. And so we came up with the concept of Recognize Good Legends. Those folks who are seemingly ordinary people, but doing extraordinary things. And today we honor Steve and Tracey Brown for the work they do here at the Miracle Lake Field. We get to say thanks to people daily. And I wanted to point out that in January, we are going to have what we call our Say Thanks Austin campaign. The legends who receive the most thank yous through our Say Thanks Austin campaign, either on our website, SMS, texting capability, a phone app, whichever legend receives the most thank yous will get an additional $10,000 to pay forward to their donation. And so whenever we get to January, look at RecognizeGood.org, watch KITV for the We Are Austin, listen for the commercials and the PSAs on 95.5 because we're going to publicize our Say Thanks Austin campaign. So that's a little about Recognize Good. Now we get into the real good part of the ceremony, and for that I ask Patty Saragusa to come forward and say a few words about Steve and Tracey.
Thank y'all. So when I heard that my dear friend Tracey and Steve had been selected by Recognize Good organization, I had to go to the website and check you guys out. And so I am certain that this nomination is 100% in line with their mission. They are personally, professionally, and in their charitable work the textbook examples of selfless giving and the promotion of the spirit of community. While the seed of Miracle League at Town and Country began when Steve saw an ESPN program about the early beginnings of the league outside Atlanta, Georgia, the ground in which it was planted was already fertile. The Browns started networking, and the first board was created with which the league was launched. Funds were raised, and big plans were made. The Round Rock Express and the Nolan Ryan Foundation were key to getting this off the ground, no doubt about it. All the while, keeping in mind, Steve and Tracey were raising 3 kids, active kids, ages 10, 14, and 17. They saw this league as both an opportunity for disabled children to finally be able to play the All-American game of baseball, plus have their own able-bodied children give back to their community and perhaps develop a better appreciation for what disabled children and their families have to go through on a daily basis. Steve and Tracey's active role in Town and Country Sports Organization and Steve's involvement with the Optimist Club and Tracey's job with an online sports registration company helped Miracle League grow quickly and efficiently. They called on family, friends, friends from the neighborhood, friends from the church, friends from school, co-workers, and businesses to pull off our first season over the dirt softball fields across the creek there in the spring of 2006. We began with 2 teams, the Astros and the Rangers. Browns, a ranger coach, yes. And we had about 20 players and 20 or so buddies that first spring. And then we quickly went to 4 teams, and then we moved over here to the Miracle Field. And a couple of very busy years, Steve and Tracey led the way with their foresight and organizational skills. This state-of-the-art, handicap-accessible facility and concession stands were designed and constructed. The new board positions and duties were established. The recruitment and training of buddies was initiated. Volunteer positions were developed. Registrations were modernized. Fundraising was addressed. Websites were developed and tweaked. And traditions were developed that last to this day. As we are well into our 16th season, we have 187 players this season and 378 volunteers. And all this thanks to Steve and Tracey. Had it not been for the Browns' attention to detail and deep-rooted conviction to ensure that this baseball experience was the absolute best for our community, the Miracle League here in Austin, Texas would not be the premier baseball league that it is. Their hard work, their blood, literally, their sweat, their tears, and I think a tooth, have impacted hundreds, if not thousands by now, lives here in Central Texas. And I'm not just talking about our players. As the seasons have clicked off, we have come to see the side benefits of this league and the fruit of the labor of Tracey and Steve Brown. And the fruits of those labors outside those players, we see parents networking with other parents about services and doctors and therapies and all sorts of things for their special needs kids. We see buddies mature and develop empathy and communication skills and responsibility. Teachers and parents of our buddies look to our league as a direction and an outlet for their kids to actively participate in their community. A host of adult volunteers come out on Saturday for the same reason, because it feels right and it feels good to come together as a community and celebrate the game of baseball and see the joy and the pride that comes from the faces of our players and their families, and because we know that the combined efforts of this big Miracle League family affirm what is right about the world and the leaders like Steve and Tracey Brown. That's to say. Except I love y'all.
Now, you didn't mention where Steve went to school and where Tracey went to school.
You're right.
Okay. Are you going to, or do we let that Texas A&M, University of Texas thing just kind of sit?
Well, it always makes for, our bats, we have Aggie bats and Longhorn bats, and so there's always kind of a little toss-up there, and until this last year. When did y'all split? 2 years ago?
Oh, SEC?
Yeah. Last year?
Yeah, last year.
So, prior to last year, it was always kind of dicey on.
Giving for fun.
So what's more important, being married or college football, SEC?
Depends on the time of the year.
Yeah.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Fenbrick from the Round Rock Express.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And what I'll do is let's ask Steve and George to come up and stand behind us here. Okay.
I just wanted to say a few words about Tracey and Steve. I'm a big believer in God, and I think God puts people in places at the right time, in the right moment. And without giving you too much deep history, I went to Ohio University in 2005. Frank Solich was named as the head football coach at Ohio University, and I got an email letting me know that there's going to be a mixer for Frank Solich here in Austin. And I couldn't go because we had a game, so I sent some certificates for some tickets to a game and Nolan Ryan autographed baseball. And about 3 or 4 months later, I get a call from Kelsey August, who was one of the original board member here at the Miracle League. And she brought Adam Weisberg with her, and we sat at the game, and she handed me the video of the Real Sports segment on HBO with Bryant Gumbel talking about the Miracle League in Atlanta, and she began to tell me about what they were trying to do here in Austin. And I took the video home and I watched the video and I cried. I mean, you can't watch that real sports video without crying. And I took it to Reed and Ryan, and I said, Reed, I said, this is a pretty neat deal, and they're trying to do one of these fields here in Austin. And he looked at it, and I don't know this for sure, but I think he had the same reaction. I think he cried too. And so he said, get a lunch with Steve and Tracy and Kelsey and Adam, and we did at Saltgrass Steakhouse. There's about 6 of us, and I believe Steve, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Reed made the commitment right then and there at lunch that we would, the Round Rock Express would be involved, and we have been ever since. And I've just never been so moved by the efforts of Tracy and Steve, and a fellow by the name of Rick Fueling was involved, and just watching from a distance their dedication to making this happen. It was like they willed this to happen. And I remember coming over here one day in the construction phase, and thieves had stolen the copper out of the concession stands. And I'm thinking, you know, you don't get any lower in life than stealing copper from the concession stand for a project like this. But these guys were just undeterred by it. And like I said, they just willed this field to happen. And I have the utmost respect and admiration for you two and the group that you put together and what you've done here at the Miracle League. And I'm just honored to be here today, honored to be able to talk about you guys, and just let you know how much I love you and respect you guys. Thank you.
Right over here in front. We have gift cards. Tracy, Steve.
I'll take one.
Yeah. 2 for Tracy, 2 for Tracy.
And a soup mug each.
Wow.
Great. Oh, hot chocolate, yeah.
Feel free to do stuff.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We have our book of good deeds.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
This is our photo of the end, Tracy.
Okay.
You get,
Keep this
you get,
alive.
you get the plan.
If I can take a moment here, we will have shirts for Steve and Tracy. We will have these things monogrammed with the Legends logo and Legends 13 on here. We'll give those to
Great. Thank you very much.
And presentation check.
This is
Oh, that's great. Oh. Thank you. I bet we get that in the bank. You better hope it. Anything?
It's a privilege to be bestowed with this honor, especially since I think if I am involved with this organization until the end of my days, I will never be able to give back to this community and to the Miracle League what it has given to me and to my family. It is an heartwarming, incredible honor to watch these special need children and their families participate in a game that I know I took for granted. It is an honor to watch the buddies give so selflessly of their time and energy, and not only that, but for them to understand, or to begin to understand, what a crucial part volunteerism plays in our society. And I think that's an incredible lesson for our young adults to learn. To watch my husband come up with this, and as stubborn as he is, to stick with it, and to make this dream come true for so many people. And to watch, Patty said, at the very beginning, we would walk up to friends and they would run the other way because they knew we were going to ask them to give. But they didn't ever run. They just kept coming. And in a community that we live in is just heartfelt giving people. And I think that is one of the lessons that I learned most about it. I just invite every single one of you to come out to a game because I promise you, you will smile.
We want to accept this also on behalf of all of our volunteers. You can't do something like this without a really, really great group of people. We've been extremely lucky to have people who've come along with us from day one, whether it's my dad coaching the first team, or Patty, who's been with us forever. I mean, we just have a great, great group of people who give of themselves, and it's very heartwarming, and it makes our job a lot easier. Way back in 2005, when I was watching the Real Sports program, I sat back and I go, man, this needs to happen. We need to do it. And I also went, man, this is going to be hard to do. But it comes together because of good people. And so we accept this on behalf of all of them. And I got to tell you, last night I was sitting and watching Real Sports again, and there's this story about these kids with handicaps, with brain tumors, who get adopted by college sports teams. And I'm going, hey, wait, we need to do something like that. And I went, oh no, back off, don't go there again. But what I'm saying is, if something touches you and you feel like you can do something, don't hesitate to do it, because it may turn out really, really neat, and it has been for all of us, and for a lot of kids and a lot of parents. It's something that helps us get through the bad part of the week, because we know we have Miracle League on Saturday. So on behalf of all the volunteers of Miracle League, Tracey and I want to thank you all very, very much.
This has been a wonderful opportunity to say thanks to Steve and Tracey and everybody associated with the Miracle League, and thanks to Dave Fendrick for coming out to see the Round Rock Express Miracle Field banner up here. That's tremendous. Steve, thank you for all you do. Tracey, thank you for all you do. This concludes our ceremony, except for one last item. You can say thanks every day to the folks who affect you, but remember to say thanks to Steve and Tracey in January when it comes to our Say Thanks Austin campaign. Thank you very much for being here.